Hi, my name is Samara, and I am going to be doing my assignment on the first scenario, which is the alcohol scenario with Michael, who is a 35-year-old professional who enjoys drinking socially on the weekends with friends. And in his scenario, it says that over time his alcohol consumption is increasing, and so now he drinks every day to help him relax after a stressful day at work. It also says that he is now rarely experiencing hangovers and he believes that he can handle his alcohol. Um, it also states that some of the symptoms that Michael is going through is that he's starting to feel more tired throughout the day. He has trouble concentrating at work and he is having memory lapses occasionally. Also, at the end of the scenario, explains that Michael and his partner get into a fight. So Michael starts to drink more, and after he does a night of drinking, he blacks out and wakes up the next morning not remembering what the events of the day before. Through this scenario, you can see that Michael is experiencing alcohol use disorder. Um, he is drinking now every single day to help him relax at the end of the day, um, which is affecting him because he's drinking alcohol every single day, day in and day out, and that doesn't give his body the time to recover from the previous day's alcohol consumption. So when a person or Michael is going through all of these alcohol consumptions in large amounts of it, it does affect a person's cognitive function. The areas of the brain that are specifically affected when going through so much alcohol consumption is the cerebral cortex and subcortical areas, such as the limbic system, which is control of the feeling and expressing emotions in a person. The thalamus is also affected in the brain, which is important for communication. The hypothalamus is also affected, which releases hormones in response to stress and other stimuli, and is involved in behavioral and physiological functions. And the basal forebrain is also affected, which is the lower area of the front part of the brain involved in learning and memory. So, these are some of the cognitive effects that could be affected in a person's brain when going through large amounts of alcohol use disorder, and it could be going through Michael right now, as he's drinking so much um, every single day and getting more tolerated with the alcohol that he's drinking, so to say. Um, Alcohol effects that also affect cognitive function is a person's memory. Like said in the scenario, Michael is having memory problems. He's having occasionally throughout the day, and he had a blackout with his partner. And alcohol can cause blackouts, which is gaps in memories of events that occurred while intoxicated. It can also impair memory encoding and retrieval. So that can be seen in Michael, as explained in this scenario. It can also affect a person's processing speed. Alcohol can slow down thinking and processing speed. Obviously, the more alcohol that is consumed, the slower and slower it gets with a person's thinking and their processing. A person's learning can also be affected by large amounts of alcohol. It can make it difficult to learn new material and can cause long-term damage with a person learning new material through alcohol use disorder. Alcohol can also impair problem-solving abilities, and it can affect a person's mood and behavior, and making it harder to think clearly and move with coordination. So, as explained at the end of Michael's scenario, he had an argument with his partner. It doesn't state whether what happened or what the argument was about, but it did lead Michael to drink more and more heavily that night. So he clearly wasn't in his right mind to make very big and conscious decisions. It also makes it hard in the brain, controlling areas of balance, memory again, speech, judgment to do their jobs, and resulting in a higher likelihood of injuries and other negative outcomes. And Michael may not realize it's having a negative effect on him because he probably isn't just thinking about the negative effects of drinking. He's just satisfying himself with all the alcohol. Um, Number two of the question in the scenario asks, based on the concept of tolerance, how might Michael's increasing alcohol consumption be contributing to his belief that he can handle more alcohol than before? Alcohol tolerance is a physical and mental adaptation that occurs, and tolerance can indicate an onset of physical dependence, even though the person may not feel the effects of alcohol as readily. So his body is already adjusted to certain intoxication levels, but the damages and the risk of the intoxication levels all still remain the same for him. So he, may have started off as a light drinker, which is a light to moderate drinking for him, which is defined as 2 drinks or less per day for men and 1 drink or more per day for women. Um, so since Michael is now having a tolerance of alcohol, he himself feels that he needs to drink more and more to heighten his effects of the alcohol because he has built up such a tolerance for it after drinking it on a daily basis. And question 3 of the scenario asks, how does withdrawal differ from other substances, and why is it potentially dangerous for someone like Michael if he stops drinking? Alcohol withdrawal is a range of symptoms that can happen if you stop or significantly reduce alcohol symptoms after a long time. So some symptoms that come with withdrawal of alcohol include headache, anxiety, insomnia, upset stomach, increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, hypothermia, delirium, seizures, hallucinations, etc., etc. So, considering that Michael is a little bit older, he is 35 years old. If he were to just quit cold turkey, so to say, it is more likely for him to have an increase in going through these symptoms. And because he is an older man and he may have already had some negative effects from the amount of alcohol that he's been drinking, it could cause for these symptoms to arise much quicker, and he could have more pain going through the withdrawal phase of this alcohol use disorder. So alcohol withdrawal varies based on many factors. It could go from 6 to 12 hours. It could be mild symptoms from him having like a mild headache or insomnia and anxiety. But within 24 hours of a last person's drink or Michael's last drink, he may experience hallucinations depending on the severity of the withdrawal. So it's very important that he seeks the professional help that he needs to know the correct step in how to make the perfect withdrawal for him, considering the symptoms that he may go through, and just being prepared to have help needed if need be. Thank you, and I hope everything went good. All right, bye.